weekly chairman's update. And the second half, of course, I'm speaking with Raul Garcia, who's running for the U.S. Senate this year and making some good noise in that campaign and getting some good traction. Um, Raul, most of the people watching this video know you, a little bit about you, but tell us just again who you are and why you're running for the U.S. Senate.
Sure. Well, I'm one of those people that like freedom. I grew up in a country that didn't have it. Grew up forced to be a little communist pioneer. And the truth of the matter is, what it did is it created a love for me for a country I had never visited. I had never stepped foot on, and that was America and the American dream. And to be able to come here and live out that American dream and become a physician and a national leader in my profession, and to even have my own business as a little farm boy from Cuba, there is no bigger honor for me than to repay this country back for everything it's done for me and my family, than to be your U.S. Senator. I worked for Senator Dole. I had that honor and had a great mentor in him, a mentor that taught me that this office was honorable, that this office was one that could really make a difference in people's lives. And he was an expert in bringing the right people in to create true solutions, and that's what I want to do for the state of Washington.
I, and we need that. You've gotten a good amount of media attention in some of the things you've done to bring sort of the discourse to this matter of fentanyl, particularly the hard drug that is just ravaging a lot of our communities. You did a walk that drew some attention to draw sort of people's discussion to what to do about this drug and how to not only prohibit its use through law enforcement, but also give care to people who need care to get off the drug. Many of our viewers already heard you talk about this, but again, give us your elevator pitch on this complicated issue and what the federal government needs to do to fight COVID, to fight fentanyl.
Well, there is no bigger crisis in our country today than the fentanyl crisis. We have a human being dying every 4 minutes and 45 seconds. And in 26 years of emergency medicine, I really have not seen a bigger killer. And that is because with cocaine, you needed about $200 a day to remain strung out on the drug. With heroin, you probably needed about $100. But it's gotten to a point where with $5 a day, you could remain strung out on fentanyl. And you're playing roulette when you're using fentanyl because there is no pharmacist at the other end controlling how much fentanyl is going into each tablet. So one of those could really kill you immediately, and that's what has happened. I haven't seen a bigger killer in 26 years, and this is why we need to find true solutions and we need to make hard decisions. And I've said, as your next United States Senator, I will take what has worked in other places. And for me, that is that we will give manslaughter charges to drug dealers and put them in prison, and then concentrate on the addiction world and make it involuntarily and mandatory to go to rehabilitation. And I tell you that as a physician because I know that what this drug does to your brain is that it tells you to lie, cheat, and steal to get that next fix or you will die. This is what unfortunately these individuals feel, so that's why they lie, cheat, and steal. And it won't stop for 28 days, and that's why month rehab don't work. We need a comprehensive rehabilitation program that will truly bring back these people into our communities that include mental health, drug addiction, counseling, and even relationships with tech colleges, with businesses that will take these graduates. But when they come back to the community, they cannot see those dealers. Those dealers need to be in prison. This was established in 2001 by Portugal. They had a big heroin epidemic. They were losing their country, and the government came in and made tough decisions, put dealers in jail, in prison, rather, and took on the addiction world and made it mandatory, and they cleaned their streets. So why not try something that actually has been effective in other places, rather than continuing the programs that we have that are truly enabling this process to become bigger and this to truly become a problem that could kill our country.
Yeah, I like the idea of enforcement first and then the wraparound care. I think that we've been trying to do the care first and enforcement later, and that clearly is not working. Some have said that the fentanyl crisis and the inexpensive cheapness of it, like you said, and the erratic concentrations in the pills are a national security issue. Do you feel it's that much of a problem?
Oh, I think it is. I think it is. And, it's hard to argue that this is an attack on America because it's killing everyone in our streets. It doesn't discriminate who you are. And it's coming through our borders very freely, right? Every sovereign nation should have the right to vet who comes in and out of their country. Not only are we not vetting who comes in and out of our country, but we're letting drugs and crime freely flow. And this is something that we have to take very serious in a new majority Senate, which is our goal. So we could truly make those tough decisions and change our country in the right direction.
Uh, you mentioned growing up in Cuba, at least as a young boy. The matter of price controls has come up lately as a way to address inflation, and it's from my perspective, our perspective, it's the wrong way to approach the problem. But talk a little bit about cost of living and some of these eccentric ideas of price controls as a way to help people. How do you think we can more effectively address cost of living issues?
Sure. Well, I mean, as far as price control is concerned, is exactly what they did in Cuba, they did in the Soviet Union, they did in Venezuela, and it failed, and it failed, and it failed. Once the government gets control of free enterprise, then we don't have growth. What we should do is stop spending money. Ronald Reagan was famous for saying, that there's two things that the government can do. They could print money, right, which we are doing.
Which we are doing.
Okay, and they could tax the people to get more money, and with that comes the true definition that it trickles down to the consumer. Even with the gas that we have here in Washington, if everybody's paying this tax, then the trucks that take our goods from one place to the other have to push that elevated price onto the consumer, and that's why we're paying more. What we need to do is bring in, as I joke, the most intelligent nerd that we had in our classes, that we're proud of now with the glasses and the pencil, and do an audit of the federal government and see what is effective and what is not effective, right? This is what I want to bring to politics, my scientific mind. What is ineffective has to be cut, and that money is given back to the community. And Economics 101 tells you that if you have more money in your pocket, you're going to spend it in the community, and that is growth. But we need to get rid of ineffective programs in our government, and we need to stop spending so much money that we have to print new money to be able to keep up. That is not sustainable. And I know that we are big on sustainability in Washington State. Well, that is not sustainable. And that is the way that we reach true solutions.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, we're all concerned about inflation becoming hyperinflation and just ruining our economy. So that's music to my ears. Some will say about your opponent in this U.S. Senate race that she takes bad votes, but she's not a terrible person, and they kind of like her when they see her. But what they dance around when they talk about the current U.S. senator is really, to my mind, how out of touch she's become with people in Washington, with regular people. Do you think you can restore that connection to regular families in Washington as a U.S. senator who will spend most of your time back in D.C. trying to sort problems out?
Well, I think that we need to redefine the job of a U.S. Senator, and I have a fundamental belief that the bigger body of government is here to support the smaller body of government succeed. So my job as a U.S. Senator is to make sure that the governor and the legislature of Washington succeed. Olympia's job should be that the counties succeed, and the county's job should be that the cities succeed. And unfortunately, it hasn't been that way. Uh, the key to this is to be among the people of Washington and know exactly what their problems are. So from Washington, D.C., we could open up the federal government to help Washington succeed. Yes, I want to be the U.S. Senator from Washington State, but I mostly want to be the U.S. Senator for Washington State. And that requires being among the people of Washington, having town halls, listening to the people of Washington. And unfortunately, when you become a career politician, you only listen to your own echo chamber, and you become more and more radical and more out of touch with the regular families. I want every single family in Washington to have their coffee in the morning and to clearly have in their mind that there is a U.S. Senator in Washington, D.C. that cares about our families, because I am doing it for my family. My story is Mr. Smith goes to Washington. I don't like what I see outside my door, so I want to change it. I don't like the crime. I don't like the open drug use. I don't like the fact that our children are not safe to go to a park. I don't like the fact that I have 4 children that try to put gas every month and they all call me for help because they can't afford their life in Washington State. We're the 8th most expensive state in the country. This has to change, and it has to change with someone that you feel will listen, will come and visit, is visible about the community. I want to walk down the streets of Seattle and people say, that's our U.S. Senator that is representing us. I want to walk down the streets of Vancouver and have people say, that is our U.S. Senator that is representing us. That is my goal, to be among the people of Washington and have that connection. So when you do have your coffee cup in the morning, you say, Senator Garcia is up there in D.C. fighting for us here. And that'll be my greatest satisfaction, my greatest accomplishment as a U.S. Senator.
And that's it in a nutshell. That's as it should be. People always want to know how to get in touch, how they can contribute, how they can donate to your campaign. What's the website? What's the phone number? What do we do to get in touch with your campaign?
So if you go to garciaforwa.com, that's garciaforwa.com, you will see a website that is now very strong on all our issues. You could even do a lot of research on us, but most importantly, help us. We need to get our message across. If every voter in this state would know about us and the present senator, I assure you that we will walk in this election. Because people are not okay with their lives right now. This is where I hear from everyone, even in King County. And they want to see a choice. So let us get that message to every voter. Everything that you could donate counts, whether it's $1, whether it is more, and your hours. If you don't have money and you want to donate your time, please tell us about it. You could tell us in our website as well, because it is all about spreading the word. I want us to get out of our echo chamber, and I want us to talk to our Democrat neighbors and say, you know what? Look at this Senate campaign. You want change? Look at this candidate. Look at how hard that campaign is working, because they really want to represent everyone. And when we do that, I think that we will get that message across to everyone.
It's a great message, and really what we need to do is we need to help Raul Garcia get his message on TV, on the radio, on the internet, in postcards, in every way. So go to his website. We'll include that contact information in the comments and the post around this video. Get in touch with his website and help, because we need this kind of leadership in the U.S. Senate back in D.C. That's it for this segment. We'll continue to talk about the races coming up in the next couple of months. Until then, be well and stay strong.